Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't quite understand those no, I don't. I don't plan to plea. I guess I'll answer in a formative that Demers is not acquiesce to
All right.
quasi-juris. I'm Gordy. I'm not Mr. Cooley. I'm Gordy. I'm a man. I'm not a person. If you have any papers in front of you with my signature on them, it's because that is what was required for me to get away from my cap.
All right, folks. Today we've got a classic case of a smug sovereign citizen, and this guy is truly on another level. From the moment he opens his mouth, it's clear he's deep in the sovereign citizen playbook. He actually claims the police captured him like he's some sort of political prisoner, not someone caught breaking the law. And then, in true sovereign fashion, he launches into a bizarre rant in front of the judge, claiming the court has no authority over him and that he's not subject to the law. Spoiler alert, that's not how any of this works. These sovereign citizens love to believe they've found some magical loophole that lets them opt out of the legal system, but courts don't work like that. The law doesn't just disappear because you declare yourself separate from it. So here's my question to you guys. Do you think this guy is actually aware of how ridiculous he sounds, or is he just completely detached from reality? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's dive into this wild and heated court hearing featuring Gordon Cooley, and trust me, it's one for the books.
You'll need to unmute your screen, sir.
Yes, I am the man that is that person.
So you're Gordon Cooley?
Yep.
Very well. State appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney. Mr. Cooley, there's been an amended complaint filed on, it looks like April 17th. You're charged with driving while suspended as a second offense for on or about March the 25th of 2024 in Elk County, Kansas. If indeed you have a prior conviction where this would be a second offense, that's a Class A misdemeanor. A Class A misdemeanor is punishable up to 1 year in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $2,500. Additionally, with a second offense for driving while suspended, there's a mandatory 5-day minimum sentence. However, a person can be placed on probation from that, but there is mandatory sentence that would have to be imposed. Do you understand what you're charged with?
No, I don't quite understand those no, I don't.
What's your question in regards to what you're charged with?
Well, I think this is a matter of a mistaken identity. My persons was never involved in anything. I'm carrying my property from point A to point B. There's no vested interest of the state to even stop me. I'm exercising my God-given constitutionally protected rights. And I stated that to the man acting as the police officer. I didn't present him with a
license.
You
are charged, sir. Hold on. You're charged with driving while suspended, a second offense. That would indicate to me that you've had a first offense.
No.
Have you been in court before on this type of charge?
Nope, not driving while suspended. No, I have not.
All right. Well, that is what you're charged with. You don't have to agree with it. You can certainly, that is an issue at trial if you feel you have a defense. As with the others that I've explained, you have certain rights. You are charged with a misdemeanor, so you are entitled to be represented by a counsel. And if you wish to apply for court-appointed counsel, if you meet the financial guidelines, I would appoint one to represent you. You also have the right to represent yourself. You also have the right to have counsel of your own choosing at your own expense. So at this time, if you wish to have a trial, if you wish to speak with an attorney counsel, would he qualify under any programs you have since you charge this as a second offense?
No.
All right. So apparently diversion wouldn't be an option for you. So if you're wishing to have a trial or to speak with an attorney, your plea at this time should be not guilty. If you wish to plead guilty, then we'd proceed to sentencing. But based upon what you're telling me, those would be issues that could be addressed at trial. So at this time, how do you wish to plead?
I don't plan to plea. I guess I'll answer in affirmative that Demers is not acquiesced to quasi
All right.
jurisdiction.
If you're not going to enter a formal plea, you're standing mute, and I will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf.
Okay, I exercise my right to trial by jury then. I'd like to face the man or the woman that claims I've done them harm or loss.
Mr. Cooley, if you wish to have a trial by
I'm
jury.
Gordy. I'm not Mr. Cooley. I'm Gordy. I'm a man. I'm not a person.
All right. Mr. Cooley.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
You need to be quiet for a moment. I'm going to explain what the situation is.
Okay, let's talk about Gordy, seriously. Is Gordon Cooley not one of the goofiest names you've ever heard? I mean, come on. Gordy. And now he's out here claiming identity fraud like that's somehow going to fly in court. He's strutting around like he's some kind of criminal mastermind pulling off a brilliant legal scheme, but in reality, he's just digging himself into a deeper hole. Let's break it down for a second. Lying in court, aka perjury, is no joke. Perjury means knowingly making false statements while under oath, and it's a felony. Depending on the state, it can land you up to 5 years in prison, not to mention some hefty fines. Plus, once you're caught lying to the court, your credibility is shot. Permanently. You're basically branding yourself as untrustworthy in any future legal matter. So while Gordy thinks he's pulling one over on the system, what he's really doing is self-sabotaging on a grand scale. Watching him try to outsmart the court is like watching someone confidently walk into quicksand. Painful, but you can't look away. What do you guys think about Gordy so far? And what about the judge? How do you think they're handling the circus? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's jump right back into this courtroom chaos.
Right to be represented by counsel. You entered a plea, refusing to enter a plea, which is fine. A person can stand mute, and I will set this matter for trial. If you wish to be or have a jury trial, you have the right to do so. However, you need to do that in the proper form. With a misdemeanor offense, you have to file a written motion for that request. Otherwise, it's set before the court. So you would need to do that in a timely way. If you're going to represent yourself, you would have to follow the rules as though you're an attorney. So all of those things would, most people don't have the training to where if they're going to do a jury trial, they're better off being represented by counsel. But that's a choice that you're going to have to make.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
Can there be a valid cause of action without an injured party?
Sir, that's not a valid question for what we're doing here today.
I've tried settling this matter in the private twice. If you have any papers in front of you with my signature on them, it's because that is what was required for me to get away from my captor.
Poor Gordy. Arrested and still out here acting like he's the victim. Look, man, you did the crime. Now it's time to face the consequences. And let's be real, it's only 5 days. That's nothing compared to what he could have gotten. But no, instead of owning it, Gordy's out here playing the blame game like he's been wronged by the universe. This is what gets me about so many sovereign citizens, the total lack of accountability. They break the law, get caught red-handed, and then suddenly they're freedom fighters being unlawfully detained or kidnapped by the system. No, you're just facing the results of your own choices. And honestly, it makes you wonder, is this where we're headed as a society? People trying to dodge responsibility just because they feel like the law shouldn't apply to them? Because let me tell you, I keep seeing more and more of these cases, and it's getting out of hand. The trend is real, and it's ridiculous. Accountability seems like it's becoming optional to some folks. Anybody else noticing this? Or is it just me? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious what you all think. Now let's get back into this courtroom mess and see how Gordy handles his court date.
Understand what a man thinks that he has the authority to take another man and throw them in a box when they have harmed no man or woman, no
Mr.
claim
Cooley,
has been brought
Mr.
against
Cooley,
them.
You need to be quiet now. We're going to give you a court date, and you can advise me how you're going to proceed at that court date. If you're going to apply for a jury trial, then you'll need to make that application by that time. Otherwise, you'll be set for a bench trial. That's before the court. Sarah, could you give us a date, please?
What sort of time frame would you like, Judge? 30 minutes?
Approximately 30 days, 30 minutes would be fine.
We can do May 15th at 2:30.
At
Judge,
2:30?
I'm out that afternoon. We could do 11:30 if there's nothing else scheduled there.
We put that for a trial and for an hour, didn't we? So,
If you only need 30 minutes, we could do the 11 to 12.
well, we said something at 10:30, I believe, or was it the 10 o'clock that was set for trial?
It was the 10:30 to 11:30 that was set.
Okay, let's set this at 11:30 for a pretrial. So, Mr. Cooley, you will need to appear at the courthouse in Howard. And if you're going to file a motion for a jury trial, you need to have done so by that time. If you're going to hire an attorney, you need to do that. If you're going to apply for an attorney, I would suggest that you do that as soon as possible, so that you can have counsel at that time.
Am I going to be able to face the man or the woman that has a claim before me, or are you going to discharge the matter? If there's not a man or a woman here, then this matter needs to be discharged.
Sir, I've heard these arguments before, and those are not legal arguments. Somebody's made these things.
I'm not a member of the legal society.
Sir,
Can you bring the law to the court, please? Can we bring the law to the court?
Mr. Cooley, stop interrupting. At your hearing, if you have motions that you wish to have heard, you can file them in advance. I would strongly recommend you be represented by counsel. But your court appearance is May 15th at 11:30, and you are to be here in person.
I will invoke my common law rights.
Final thoughts on Gordy, and honestly, it's kind of hilarious how he still thinks he's the victim here. I mean, maybe he doesn't actually believe it, but from the way he's acting, it sure seems like he does. He's behaving like the entire legal system is personally out to get him. Then again, this might just be some performance to try and delay the case or dodge consequences. Either way, it's a mess. And can we talk about this tired sovereign citizen argument they always bring up? The victim has to be present for a trial. Like, no, that's not how the law works. If you're caught driving without a license, that's on you. That's a crime against the state, not some random individual. The law doesn't need a victim to show up in court for accountability to happen. It's wild how they try to twist the legal system to fit their own made-up narrative. Now, I'm going to say something a little unpopular, but hear me out. Some of these sovereign citizens might not actually be delusional. Some might just be broke, desperate, and trying to stall out the case for a few days, maybe a week. If you've got no money, no resources, and no options, I can kind of see the logic, even if it's a terrible one. But let's be real, it's still idiotic. They're wasting court time, resources, and taxpayers' money. And at the end of the day, it doesn't work. I get where the judge is coming from, and I tend to side with them on this stuff more often than not. So what do you think? Did Gordy actually believe the nonsense he was spewing, or was he just trying to play the system to buy time? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear all of it. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more wild court content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.